Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to sign up for this workshop. I am stoked you're here. And if you are looking to learn how to run backing tracks in Ableton Live, you are in the right place. So let's go through what will be covered to make sure you're not wasting your time, and I'm going to do my best to make the best of your time since you're here. So in this workshop, we are going to cover the different versions of Ableton, so you can choose which one fits best for you, and there is a 30-day free trial, so if you don't want to spend any money today, there's plenty of options for you. I'm going to hook you up at the end with my Ableton 10 templates that includes my vocal cue pack. So it's like over 60 vocal cues. You can basically open this template in Ableton and be set to go. Drag in your audio and you're done. And you'll receive an email to redeem those shortly after this workshop. You just have to attend to the end. And then I'll go through how to use that template, how to set time signatures, BPMs, key mapping the numbers so you can trigger songs with keys on your keyboard. Like song 1, you can use number 1. Works great. Let's see, MIDI mapping options, how to change outputs of tracks. And then what's really nice is we'll go through how to use clicks, count-ins, and how to make custom clicks and custom guides. And there in the template, it's already includes some pre-made clicks and some pre-made count-ins for you. So you can just select from those and duplicate them and throw them up. And then how to warp tracks to different tempos and different keys. So after this workshop, you should be able to know your way around Ableton essentially and be able to run tracks. And especially there's no excuse because the 30-day trial is Ableton's top tier of Ableton. So my goal is for the end of this workshop, you're able to run tracks. So let's dive right in. So I'm just opening Ableton's website here. Let's go to Buy Now and check their different versions. And P.S., I'm going to go really fast. I hate those long tutorials and workshops and whatever that just start so much blabbering fluff. Let's get to the good stuff. So here are the 3 versions of Ableton. We have Intro, Standard, Suite. Intro's $99. Standard's $449, Suite $749. As you see, here's a rough comparison, and you can go to Ableton.this URL if you need to check a full comparison of all this, and these expand and get really specific. So the main thing I would recommend is Intro limits you to 8 scenes, which is basically going to be 8 songs for how I run tracks, and only 16 audio and MIDI tracks. If you're running less than 8 songs and you don't ever envision yourself doing more than that, Intro may be a decent option, but my bigger recommendation would be Standard, which is basically not going to limit you in any way at all. Suite is just, I would say, especially for producers if you're going to be producing music. But if you don't want to spend any money, check this out. You can just go to Try Live for free. Boom. It is awesome. There you go. And you get 10 Suite for free for 30 days, which is awesome. And let me mention, too, if you want a discount on this and you're a student or a teacher, they have this educational offers tab right here. And students and teachers save 40%. That is super rad. I bought Ableton when I was in college, and it makes it way cheaper, as you see here. So that being said, let's go through how to use the Ableton 10 template. So I'm just going to open up the template down here. Here we go. Actually, I'll open it from here. So we're going to open Ableton, and essentially you can bypass having to figure out Ableton's default set. You can just purely open the template for the first time you're in Ableton, and it will look like this. So just to give a brief overview of this, what you see in orange, these are called scenes, or all of these rows here on the right are scenes. So this is a scene, this is a scene, this is a scene, and so on. This is just some Ableton terminology. Columns in this view are tracks. So this is a track, this is a track, and then these individual clips right here, well, I just gave it away, are clips. So essentially a scene, if I hit this play button, it's going to launch everything in that row. So if I hit this,
1, 2,
And let me actually, this is the IO for input output tab. I'm going to put these down 1-2. So it's going to be in the left and the right side. Left is 1, right is 2 for our computer. And if you were using an audio interface, that's where you would change the output. So check this out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And you notice you can hit the stop button here. And I wanted to do this screen share way of doing this. You can actually see my workflow. So you can pick up on what things to click, shortcuts, and so on. And I'll try to explain as much as I can as we go. So how to use this template. So the colors, I'm just going to give a brief overview. I've color coded it. Orange is purely nameplates. This doesn't have to be here. Blue, I like to use for the actual functions. So that's where we'll put the BPM and the time signature. And then the gray scenes are just space. So I found over my time using Ableton, it's just way nicer to be very organized, and it's just aesthetically pleasing, and it's easier to make your way around it, especially if it's during a live show. And then all these green clips are click, and these red clips are guide. So that being said, let's pretend, actually not pretend, let's actually prepare a song here. So let's call it, the demo I'm going to be using today is called New Song 1. It's a song of my own that I finished, but it's not named as of now. So we'll call it New Song 1, which is what it's currently called still. Here's where you set the BPM. It's 93 BPM in this case, which it's in my downloads folder. New Song 1, instrumental, 93 BPM in G flat. So something I like to do is always put in brackets. You don't have to do this, but I like to just label the key of the song in the orange. And 1 is telling me that I'm going to hit the letter 1, but we'll essentially get to that. So time signature, we still need to set. So you just right click, edit time signature, and this song is going to be in 4/4. So that it's as simple as that. You right click at the tempo, right click, edit time signature. We have 93 BPM 4/4. That all looks good. And then, like I just mentioned a few seconds ago, key mapping is right here. And here's a little trick with Ableton. You can open this bottom left-hand corner. And oh gosh. And this is called Info View, and this is Ableton's like amazing feature for learning it. Anywhere you hold your mouse, it's going to tell you exactly what it is. So like we have panning, we have our track volume here, we have track activator, and so on. This is the key map mode switch. If you turn this on, notice that I'm going to delete this and then add it again. You basically can, anything orange, you can customize and click and have that function be assigned to a key on your keyboard. And if you want to use a MIDI controller for any of these functions, you just hit MIDI. And anything blue, you could assign to like a keyboard key, a key on the keyboard, or a launch pad, or a drum pad hit. So this is super useful. And as you can see, I've already done this for you for 1 through 9. Unfortunately, the keyboard doesn't have numbered 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. So I've done that. And a little trick too, some people find this really useful to use these up and down indicators. They're kind of hidden because they only show up when you hit key mapping. I kind of wish they were always there. I don't know what Ableton's thinking there, but so you can hit like F, and now I have F mapped to key or to scene up. So I'm hitting F and it's going scene up, scene up, scene up, and you could assign that. A lot of people find that useful for when they're MIDI mapping. You can assign like a drum pad to up or down. But what I found is it works best for me is just assigning each blue scene, which is where we're going to put the important clips, to a different key on the keyboard or a different MIDI note. So that's our start. If you want to stop all these clips, you can hit the stop button, which watch it light up over here. What that is doing is stopping any clips in the click track and any clips in the guide track when I hit the stop button. So what I'd recommend is mapping that. I usually map it to B because it's right by spacebar, and you can't map spacebar. So when I hit B, it is stopping everything. So if I have both these playing,
1, 2, 3,
I can just hit B and it stops that. And actually, I'd also recommend mapping B to this stop, which as you see, the clock is still going. There's no audio playing though, but now when I hit B, it's going to stop the clock and stop all clips. Cool? Cool. So let's move on to how to actually use these clicks, count-ins, and to make custom clicks and guides. So for this song we're going to be doing, it's 93 BPM. Let's find a click that's appropriate for that. We'll try eighth note, and if you hold Alt, it will duplicate it from there, rather than if you didn't, it would just drag it away. So I always hold Alt and I move these out of the way and take whichever ones I need. Let's try eighth note. I don't really like that. Let's try, I'll expand this so we can see it. Let's try eighth note accented. I like that a lot more for this song. I think that's going to fit better. And then let's just throw a 4/4 count in. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. And this click, these have loop on right here, and that means they're essentially going to keep going forever. And here is velocity to customize like how hard you want that click sample to hit. So if you don't like the accents of these clicks, you can just simply drag this one back up to 100 to match the other one. Oh gosh, this is so difficult. There we go. So they're both 100, and now listen to it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And so on. So I'm going to hit Command Z and undo that and keep it back accented. I like it accented for this. So that's essentially how you can customize these different clicks. And as you see, I've made some different custom ones for you. Different pitched one here for you. There's just normal quarter notes. We have a triplet one, eighth note accented, eighth notes, and so on. This has basically covered every song I've ever done. It's great. And then same thing with the guides. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you ever want to move any or customize something, and I'll touch on this as we start making a guide, but it's as simple as double clicking in one of these spaces and it will make a clip. So
1, 2, 3, 4.
As I hit that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say we wanted to say break 2, 3, 4.
Break 2.
It's as simple as that. And that is because of the convenience of I included
1, 2.
my entire vocal cue pack, and it's lined up via Ableton so that it will show up. If you double click on the clip, it will show up here in alphabetical order. So as simple as that. And here's a little trick. If you ever want to, if you're programming in here and want to change the grid, hit Command 2 or Command 1, and it will change that grid. See how the grid is now, if I draw a note, it's going to be huge, or Command 1. Now it's going to be really tiny. So you can use Command 1 or Command 2 to change that. Cool. So if you want to change a click and make your own custom one, you can double click on a clip, or you can right click, insert MIDI clip, and make your own. Loop is on by default. And we have click sample here. Let's say we want like a ridiculously fast clip. This top bar is the loop brace. You can see on the bottom left there. Let's just bring that back here. There we go. Now we have like a 16th note. So I would label this like 1/16, or actually it probably looks best as 16th note click. I don't know why you would ever do this, but that's how you can customize those. Same thing with the guide. So let's say for our song, let's do a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to bring that up there, except we're going to say intro. So I'm going to get rid of this 1, and let's have it say intro 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And a trick I'll do is whatever the length of my audio clip is for my song. So let's actually bring the song in real quick. New song instrumental, and you can just drag it anywhere in this middle and it will make the right track for that song. Beautiful. I'm going to close this because that bothers me. I like to make my tracks blue. Maybe it's just like a OCD thing for me. I like everything very aesthetically pleasing. So, track. I'm going to expand this so we can see everything on it. And let's test it and see how it works.
Intro 2, 1, 2,
Okay,
3.
so a few things here. Notice our input and output is open. We don't need an input for this because we're not recording anything. And audio is going to master, which sends it over here. And master is set to 1-2. So that's okay. That's going out the same normal, but for sake of keeping everything the same, let's just do ext out, which is external out 1-2. So the count in was going over the track. That's a problem. And we currently can't do anything about that. So what we're going to do is warp this track. So let's hit warp and see that added a grid. It added lines to this. And the important thing about warping a track, how to warp a track correctly, is you have to warp it to this global tempo. And as you see in the bottom left, it says tempo when my mouse is up here. This is the project tempo. That is what's important to be set at the correct thing. So this track was recorded at 93 BPM. So this top tempo needs to be at 93 before I hit warp, and it was. So that sets a grid at the right spot, and as you see, stuff is lining up. So that makes this way workable and really easy to work with. Check this out. I'm going to go -2. So I'm adding some empty space to this for where it's going to start this clip and leaving time for the count in to go. And in fact, let's check it out.
Intro. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. So that is awesome. We're honestly like ready to go for this song. This one's like set, except the last thing you would do would be change the outputs. Make sure click and guide go together. So in this case, we would send those out 1, which is going to go to the left side of our laptop, and track out 2. So now you'll hear click and guide on the left and track on the right.
Intro. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And so on. Cool? Sweet. We are getting there. And I want to make sure you know how to make custom guides and to switch up this count in, because that's really useful, and you have like 60 different cues to choose from. So it should give you basically every option you'll ever need there. So let's customize. Let's just put like a verse count in, maybe a chorus count in. And I made this song, so I know the verse comes in like 2 bars after. So let's listen. Oh, and a trick for this. We'll listen and add a verse count in. But first we need to make this guide. I'm just going to relabel it as new song 1 guide. And let's expand this. So if we're making a guide for this, I found it's easiest to just make the guide the same length as the track. So notice this is -2 to 57.34. Let's do -2, 57.34. Now they're going to play the same amount of time. I like that. And I'm going to have to adapt this a little bit and bring these over there now that I moved them 2 bars over. So let's test it.
Intro.
Look at the remaining time.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. It is all set. So from here, we can literally hit play on the scene, which I can hit 1 on my keyboard.
Intro. 2.
And draw the guide as it goes.
2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4.
And I know, since I know the song, I know that's where the verse comes in. So I'm going to find a verse count in. Here we go. And it's as simple as that. You can literally draw these in as you're listening to the song.
2.
And you can use this scroll on this to skip ahead or back. This is really useful. It only works when it's playing. So if you hit play and then scroll with this arrangement position, it will scroll through the arrangement. Super nice for skipping through stuff. And you can even type in a number. If you want to skip to like measure
Intro.
29, check this out.
2, 1.
There we go. And notice it went to 27. You may be like, what? I typed 29 here, but that's because our clips here start at -2 and -2. So if we wanted to fix that, we could paste them into arrangement view. You're probably getting real confused right now. Don't worry. You can just copy what I just did. I hit that orange button to activate this view, and I hit tab to get in this view. And I hit this orange button as well basically, if you wanted to make these the right distance, you just come in here, hit consolidate. That's basically going to re-export them. And then I'm going to hit Command X, cut, hit Tab, and paste them back in this view. And now look, these start at 1. And it starts at 1 now rather than -2. So I'm just going to delete those for now. We don't even need to do that. That's just an option if you want to. Some people are really picky about that stuff. Like I kind of am sometimes with some things. So cool. I hope this is making sense. Hope you're following along. This is really, really useful stuff. And I just want to go over now it matters, our BPM and time signature. You are probably wondering, why do we have to put that in here? Basically, if we're doing multiple songs, so let's say this song 1, we're actually playing like for song 8, and song 7 had some different settings, like say it was 125 BPM in like 6/8. So our settings are going to be wrong, and that's going to play this weird. Like if I hit play, it's like super warped fast and like all messed up. We don't want that to happen. What these do, when you right click, edit launch tempo and edit time signature and set those, it will change the global tempo and time signature instantly. So, and you can notice that by the play button is a different color here. That's when you know, like even if I just type in this scene, 4 BPM. Oh, I guess you can't go less than 20 BPM. 26 BPM. There you see the play button change. And it's Command R to rename a scene, by the way, or just right click, rename, and you can see any shortcuts on the right here. Super useful. Also, like you can check edit or create. It always shows the shortcuts on the side here. So let's hit 1 and watch these settings change as I hit 1 on my keyboard because these changes are in there. Ready? Here we go.
Intro.
Instantly changes.
1.
Super useful, and the song's going to play perfect from then on out. Cool? Sweet. So that's why Ableton has this huge niche. It's awesome because if you were in the normal DAW, like Pro Tools, GarageBand, Logic view, this is kind of the standard DAW view, you would have to automate all those things, and it's just way more of a pain in this view, and you can't, then you'd have to like scroll right and left as the songs go. It's just like, some people prefer that, and that's an option too, which is great that Ableton just has both. So this has been a great option though. I mean, you can see like all your songs. You can change the look. I just did Command comma to get in preferences, or you go to live preferences to get, you can zoom this. I usually zoom it way bigger when I'm playing live so I can see it. If you want to see all 16, you can zoom out like this and so on. So really useful. And then one other important thing about preferences is here's where you set your output device and input device. So I have MacBook Pro speakers, that's where it's going out right now, and you can set your input device. If you were using an audio interface, that's where you would set that here. So,
Intro.
Hope you're keeping up. This is awesome, good stuff. I think just a few more last things. If you want to change the key of this song, so remember it's currently in G flat. Let's say we want to go to G. So I'll take that flat out, but we need to change that here. It's really easy. After a song is warped, it will let you transpose it. So G flat, we need to go G flat to G, so we're going to go 1 up. This is 1 step or 1/2 step of it, or 1 semitone. And what I recommend is putting it on complex mode. So these are warp modes. And as you see on the bottom left there, it says beats mode. I'm looking in this bottom left box. Complex is best for warping whole songs and complex audio. So if you're transposing, I can just tell you right now, you'll notice a huge difference with complex mode versus beats. Beats mode is more for rhythmic stuff. It'll kind of mess up your pitches and rhythm if you're using beats mode on an entire track. So use complex mode. The only downfall is complex takes a little bit more CPU. Like see, my CPU up here is now at 8 or 9%. And if it's on beats mode, it's on 4%. So there's the drawback. You can always drag it into this view, and when it's on complex mode, like so, and then right click, consolidate. And once that's done, it's going to default back to beats mode and it will be transposed. Here's our new transposed track. And it's in a different key. So simple as that. And then you could paste it back here if you wanted to. But this is good to go in a different key. And then if we wanted to change the BPM of this song, because we already warped it correctly to 93 BPM, because the global tempo was set to 93, then we hit warp on the track, and that put a grid of 93 on the track. We can actually change that for what it's going to start at, or we can change that as it's going even. So check this out. I'm going to hit play.
Intro.
It's at 93.
1, 2.
I'm going to
3,
slide it up
4.
to 114.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
Or slide it down. Super useful. And if you just want to start it at I don't know why you would be dragging it while you're playing. Realistically, you'll start it, let's say you want to do it really fast for some reason, 100 BPM. We'll try that.
Intro. 2.
It
1,
instantaneously
2, 3,
changes.
4.
And it sounds nice and smooth thanks to complex mode. So hopefully you're in a decent spot right now. I'm stoked for you to actually download Ableton if you don't already have it and get rolling on this. There's so many more things you can learn, but this should give you a really, really great, solid start. So if you're interested in learning more about backing tracks in Ableton Live, I put together a one-stop arrival course that covers everything. And I'm so confident in this course, I've offered a 30-day satisfaction guarantee with this course, or your money back. This course is super edited down into less than 2 hours of video content, and I've compressed the content so there's no wasted time, pointless blabbering like so many YouTube tutorials have. I've also recognized that this was a process for me to learn, and I know it very well may be for you as well. So I've provided a Facebook support group along with the course that it's exclusively for students of the course to join, and all students can show each other tips and help with any problem or question that comes your way. So it's super fast response rate. I also chime in the group to create tutorials and answer any questions that may come up. And this just kind of covers moving forward for the future as more technology comes out and as we figure out new ways to run tracks and new tips and tricks and whatnot. That's been really useful. Here's what the actual course looks like, and here are the topics covered. As you see, it's necessary gear, Ableton intro, and recommended preferences. Creating a template, which is that template we just went through today, but you'll see how I actually created it, and you can create it for yourself and customize it even more so it's optimized for you. Where to get tracks, where to get stems, warping and modifying tracks, and then launching and triggering. A bunch of creative ways to do that. I'm also including a 30-minute support call with me, and this bonus is only available for workshop attendees that purchase the course, and I'm not sure how long I'll be able to offer this, but I really want to make sure you're just taken care of and can start applying these skills ASAP. So all in all, you'll get the video course, a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, exclusive access to the Facebook support group, a 30-minute support call, and I'm throwing in $100 off if you purchase today. So you can head over to the right side of your screen if you are on desktop, or the bottom of your screen if you're on mobile, to get the course. Thanks so much for sticking around. Your bonus will be available in your email shortly, along with that new Song 1 instrumental track that I used in this workshop. So you can use that yourself just to practice and make sure you're setting it up correctly. There will be a replay available within 24 hours in case you missed anything. And please don't be afraid to use that chat box to reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy and excited to help you really get this rolling. So last but not least, if this workshop was valuable to you, please share it with a friend or someone who really needs this information and can use it. And I hope it was of value to you and that you had a good experience. So thanks again for attending, and I will see you soon.